It's 4:20, April 20th, I'm at Santa Cruz. Official date and time, and I'm pedaling around the new V10.
I mean, for Josh and I, we're trying out some stuff so that we can continue to make a 10-inch travel bike that these guys ride fast on, but it has the geometry that all the kids think they need. So we can make a whole list of numbers so people can buy their bikes off of that. And then simultaneously we have Steve and Greg try and get both of those guys riding maybe the same size bike. It's a little easier to make multiple front triangles for them so they have spares if they're on the same bike.
And have you already got next year's paint job in mind?
You know, next year we're maybe going to go carbon, so it's not powder coat anymore, so we might have to switch channels on the paint. I'm not sure what direction we're going, so sky's the limit.
You were with us in North Star when we were testing the mules last fall, and we basically just got these bikes about 2 weeks ago. We did lab testing at the manufacturer during March. We spent a bunch of time there. Nick Anderson was over there for 2 weeks doing the layup and testing in the lab. We just got this frame that we're looking at about 1 week ago. We've been doing lab testing here. Most of it's been lab testing. The ride testing's been pretty minimal so far, but that's what we intend to do with the team through the race season. Making the tubes a bit smaller instead of using massive tubes everywhere, we were able to get the weights where we wanted to with the really thick walls. We know everybody's concerned about rock impacts and crashing and so forth, so we've got pretty strict weight targets on the bike. We've got really thick walls. If you look at the stiffness and the strength testing that we've done, it's far beyond anything that the aluminum bike could handle. It is still over a 50mm diameter down tube, so it might not be what you'd expect a carbon bike to look like because of some other products that are on the market, but the tubes are still quite large, and because of the nature of carbon, you're able to both orient the material and tailor all the wall thicknesses to where you actually need it instead of having to have welds in high stress areas and the same wall thickness on an aluminum bike. That all of this can be tailored.
DRA impact test on the new carbon V10 front triangle, year model 211, captain's log, star date, God knows what.
1, 2, 3. What you do for the name of journalism. Yeah, this is just one of about 8 different tests that we do for strength. You know, we do impact, ultimate, and fatigue testing on all of them. Like the industry standard test for this is less than half this weight. So this is 110 pounds. Yeah. The industry standard is 50 pounds, and it's from 450mm. And we drop it from a meter. We're still not failing. We drop it from a full meter, and we have more than twice the weight on it at 110 pounds. We debated the pros and cons of using a carbon swing arm at the beginning of the project. Our estimates were that we weren't going to be able to save that much weight by using carbon by the time we dealt with chain slap issues and trying to make it impact resistant in crashes and for abusive downhill riding. So if there wasn't significant weight savings at this point, we decided to stick with the aluminum swing arm, and you know, we'll kind of see how the testing goes from there.
Basically, in the stock setup at 65 in the 10-inch mode, which is about 1.5 degrees to 2 degrees slacker than the current bike. The BB height is basically exactly what we've had for the last 2 years. We talked to the team guys about changing that, but they were pretty solid on keeping it where it is. It's actually pretty low for a 10-inch bike. With the headset that you're going to get with the frame, you'll be able to get between a 64 and a 66 degree head angle in the 10-inch mode. So be able to get it pretty close to where the old bike was if you want quicker handling, or you can get it absurdly slack if you want. Certainly the BB height will be lowered a little bit if you go slacker. Just naturally it'll get a little bit lower. and a little bit higher if you put it in steeper. The bottom bracket will drop about 3/4 of an inch down to 14 inches in the 8.5 inch mode, and the head tube goes out about a degree, so it'll be stock at 64 in 8.5, or you'll have the option to go 63, 63.5, 64.5, or 65. And when you change travel modes, the curves are almost identical. 8.5 is just a lower average leverage ratio. So you'll need to drop about 50 pounds in your spring and back the settings off a little bit, but after that you'll get a very similar feel.
So it seems with this new V10 you've managed to cover all ends of the spectrum for all riding styles, and somehow you've even managed to satisfy the internet angles and degrees, starting at a 63.
Certainly that's the idea to a certain extent. You know, over the years we really like the way the bike has been, and everyone's got something different to say about it, but I think with this bike it's going to be pretty hard to come up with a complaint. It's very adjustable, super light, stiff, great suspension, so we'll be interested to see what people complain about this time.